Is 16 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Robert Sherman back with us. First time in the new year here. Good morning.
That's right.
Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
Yeah, how's life treating you?
Good.
Good deal.
Could be better in that, we've got some issues. We're trying to get open full time.
Okay.
So what we're doing is myself and Bob Donnell and possibly some other folks going to be going out, opening it up for maybe an hour and a half prior to the noon takeoff.
Okay.
And that's changed from 11:28 to 1:30 starting today.
Oh.
So we try to run out there today, for example. Bob's going to be out there about 12 noon until a little after 1:30 after the plane leaves and the place gets all deserted.
Quiet again.
Yeah.
It goes from 100 miles an hour to zero pretty quickly there, doesn't it?
By the way, you're talking about Groundhog Day. What day is that coming up?
February 2nd.
February 2nd. Oh,
Yes.
that's still a way off.
Yeah, we got a month away.
Well, another thing for the audience to know, this is really an important date. Thursday, the 6th of January is National Rubber Ducky Day.
Ooh. All I can think of is Bert and Ernie now. Rubber ducky, you're the
That's right.
one.
I saw that and I said, seriously? I have to find me a rubber ducky. I guess.
Well, I'm sure big rubber duckies, they're the ones that created that holiday.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, man. Well, for folks that aren't familiar, the Walker Aviation Museum is located inside the air terminal at the Roswell Air Center. And it is a museum that pays homage to Roswell Army Airfield and Walker Air Force Base that was located right there at the south end of town here up until the 60s there. And also pays homage to this area's role during the Cold War era and dealing with the missile silos and things that Roswell or called several home for Roswell here around the area. So
Right.
it's really it's really a cool museum. If you've never been in there, I highly recommend you make a trip out to the airport there. Right now, maybe hang out during the flight schedule, during the midday flight schedule, and come on down and check out the museum.
And usually we've got this large TV screen going and shows, maybe the history of the B-29 and some of the issues that are going on with that. And then also we have a couple touchscreen computers now, like they have down at the UFO Museum, where you walk in and just touch it.
Okay.
And you get a little 2.5-minute history of Walker, and you touch the other screen, you get about a 2.5-minute history of the Atlas missile.
Okay.
And we're waiting for Alan Trevor to come in and add about 4 more items so that you have a choice of 3 things to look at
like
per
a menu.
screen.
Okay, cool.
Right, yeah.
Very cool. That's great. So more technology coming into the museum here. I'm curious with the flight cancellations and all that kind of stuff. Did that increase traffic a little bit to the airport for you?
Well,
visitors?
when we were out there, we haven't been out there too much. Like I was saying, we don't have the employees right now. We were looking at hiring someone through the Goodwill Industries.
Okay.
And they provide the salary for them and everything, but we found out that they have to have supervision the whole time they're there.
Gotcha.
So now we're back. Okay, who's gonna be the supervisor and run out there? So we only have about 8 folks in our board right now, but we've got some other things I'll talk about.
Okay.
We may get some other people, and right now.
And I guess you're looking for some volunteers to come be a part of the museum.
Yes, actually we are, and we've got some people that have called us up and said they'd be glad to.
All right.
Maybe come out for I'll go out on Monday and Thursday, and someone will come out on Wednesday and whatever.
Get a rotating
at
schedule.
Least get it open for a little bit when folks are milling around. And when we've been out there, 4 or 5 times, we've got maybe anywhere from maybe 5 to 10 people coming in, just kind of, and they like what they see.
Yeah.
And it's worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great. You get a chance if you're a person that loves talking to people and kind of being a bit of an ambassador for our community. Then would love to have you come volunteer. If it's a couple hours a week or more or less, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, wafbmuseum.org. Before I'll mention that again later, but
sure,
that's our website. And go to Amazon Smile when you're buying something on Amazon. We get just a little tiny bit of that money.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost you anything, but
yeah, there's the Amazon Smile program for folks that have gone through that. Yeah, there's a lot of organizations across the world that utilize that, and Walker Aviation Museum. If you go to the wafbmuseum.org website, you'll find the Amazon Smile link there. You click on that, and then I encourage you to bookmark it. That way, every time you go to Amazon, you click on that bookmark, and then every time you make a purchase at Amazon, a few pennies off of that purchase amount go towards the Walker Aviation Museum. Doesn't cost you any extra money. It's on Jeff Bezos' side. He's the one giving up the pennies there, and you can help out the museum. And you get enough people doing that, at the end of the month, the museum will get a nice little check each month to help with operating costs and whatever they need it for. So
Yeah.
good way to help out, very easily way to help out too.
The couple things. Historical briefing today. I'm going to just give a little rundown on the Cold War and Walker
Okay.
with that, and some other news going on. We've kind of, at least Bob and I, and maybe some other folks, were joining forces with Civil Air Patrol. Joseph Bellasini,
Oh, cool.
Tom Clark, Stanley Nelson. I'm going to join and become a senior member, instructor, whatever,
Okay.
for some of the stuff I used to teach and stuff. So, and also we're teaming up with EAA, Experimental Aircraft Association. So between Experimental Aircraft Association, Civil Air Patrol, and the Walker Aviation Museum, as far as the aviation side, we thought we could work as a team better than just separately.
Absolutely.
Getting the youth in Roswell to get interested in aircraft or
Yeah.
aviation in general.
Sure. Everyone in that group have the same
Yeah.
end game there,
Right.
the same goals. They want to do that. So yeah, that's together you're stronger. Let's do that. Absolutely.
And of course, we're going to continue. Very important, the history of Walker and all that. But at the same time, we've shifted some of our emphasis into science, technology, engineering, and math.
Sure.
So when we we've had so far about, as people may or not know, we got a $10,000 grant from Excel Energy recently. Thank you, Excel. And we installed 2 flight simulators. They're called Edu Stations. They're made by STEM Pilot Incorporated.
Okay.
And you can find that at stempilot.com. But anyway, so far we've had about 46 youth and 11 adults come out. And what we do in that program for that part is we give them a quick little history.
Mm-hmm.
We show them that 2-minute thing on the history of Walker, and
Yeah.
show them some other items. And then we break them up and kind of get them oriented what we're going to be doing on the flight simulators. And then we break them into 2 groups. Ideal size, and I was talking to Bob yesterday, is about 8 students at a time. 'Cause
Okay.
we can get 4 on the 2 simulators, a pilot and a co-pilot, and then they can trade positions. But we can do up to 12.
Okay.
So we do 6 and 6. But we break them up, and while the half of them are on the flight simulators, practicing taxiing and takeoff, and then just flight, fundamentals of flight.
Sure.
The other half are getting 11 YouTube briefings on all the way from the Venn diagram on determining, what's your best career to maybe pursue in the
Okay.
future, as well as 10 other 3 to 5 minute YouTube videos on 10 different careers,
Okay.
all the way from the day in the life of a wind turbine technician, or do you want to be a registered nurse? Do you want to be a oil field
Sure.
or engineer, and auto mechanic, aircraft mechanic, other type of stuff.
Gotcha.
So,
All the things where that STEM engineering and
and we
math-
hope to,
Yeah,
by doing
absolutely.
that, we kind of stimulate something like, wow, I hadn't thought about doing that. I could do that. And we're trying to coordinate with Crumlin Auto Group here with the auto, mechanic, because they've got a good program with Eastern,
Absolutely.
and hopefully get maybe a video from them rather than just the generic video we found on YouTube. But we can, when we do that, we tell them that Crumlin has a program here,
Sure.
and
Well, yeah, it's
and maybe
the
some other
synergy
auto
there.
companies here get a hold of us.
Absolutely.
And have
The
the
more
same
the
thing.
merrier. Absolutely. Or, obviously some of our industrial, Dean Baldwin's and things in the, if
Yeah.
they're wanting
No,
to
absolutely.
get involved in that side, that would be great too. Maybe even law enforcement, the sheriffs or police or both, that there's certainly a lot of STEM stuff related in that, the science of police work too. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then when they get through, on the way out, we give them, let's see, at least 3 sheets of paper. And, well, actually, while I put the kids to work. When I say kids, they're younger than me, which is not saying much. But I have them. We have a bunch of clipboards and some stuff. So when they're watching these little videos, they rate them. They put them down. What is your age, and are you male or female? And then as they see a particular video, they rate it 1 through 5.
Okay.
And 1 is like, this was totally useless. I hated it, whatever.
Sure.
Or 5 is like, wow, this is really, really great. So that when we get through and they leave, we can look at that and see, maybe we need to get rid of this video here and
Sure.
get it up. And then also, I ask the adults when they're there, if you're on, website and you find a interesting STEM career video that's 3 to 5, 6 minutes long, give us a call or send it, to
Sure.
our email. And
Put
stuff.
it on our radar here.
Yeah, it's on our radar, and we'll check it out, and maybe
Yeah.
we'll change it and put that on there.
Absolutely. And it also kind of gives you a gauge, because I imagine, each one's different, dealing with different
Right.
career fields and things.
Right.
The interest level of the career field in the children's eyes would kind of reflect that scoring too a little bit, where obviously a job that's got pilot's going to look a lot sexier to a child than say working on a oil field rig. You know what I mean? Just watching that video, you see the pilot and he's flying a plane. The kid's gonna be like, "Whoa, plane!" And then so I imagine some of that comes into play.
Yeah, the
too.
one on the aircraft mechanic is this gal that used to be in the Air Force or in the Army.
Okay.
And worked on helicopters.
All right.
And she's now a certified aircraft mechanic, but it's a woman.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, women
Sure.
sitting there thinking, this is not only for guys.
Yeah.
It could be for girls.
And I hate to burst their bubble, but there's been women mechanics in the military for a long time.
Women pilots now. Too.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's
navigators and whatever.
That's been gender fluid. I don't know if that's the right term anymore, but I have no idea. But long. You want a history on how to make things gender fluid? Go watch the military. They've been doing it for a lot longer than I guess civilians have been thinking about this stuff. But
right. And then when they the folks leave, we hand them 3 sheets of paper. 1 sheet is a list of all the YouTube career stuff that we found, highlighted that they saw, but about maybe 50 other ones. And then we give them and then also some YouTube videos on aircraft, flight and pilots, and shows them flying different aircraft.
Sure.
All the way from the SR-71 to U-2 to B-50, aircraft refueling each other, whatever.
Nice.
And so then we give them another sheet of paper that has about 130 or so STEM careers on it. And I say at the top, you go home, get on your computer, check out YouTube on these subjects, and you might find some videos dealing with this particular STEM career.
So that way it kind of gives them a gateway to do their own research and decide, decision making, and say, hey, I want to check more out about this, because really that's what will happen in theory once you get the bug, the plant set there, so to speak, and you've got that seed in there and percolating. You got to let it grow, and that's how you do it. Is they when you see them doing their own with initiative on trying to gather more information about it, then you're like, oh, the seed has been planted, it's sprouting. So that's great that you guys say, all right, does that look cool? Well, here, when you get home, check this out and see more about how cool this is, and then hopefully they get bit and they're on their own searching for more videos and resources for that.
And then the third sheet of paper is for folks that are really, really interested in flying or maybe being a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
We have a list of about 13, actually they're professional videos on YouTube that run anywhere from 10 minutes to 25 minutes long. It's 13 hours of training, and it covers, for example, there's an hour, 3 videos, 20 minutes long of on aircraft instruments. And they got on aircraft related weather. There's maybe an hour's worth of stuff there.
Nice.
And so they can go down through this, and this is, if you watch that whole thing all the way to stuff that how it affects your body and response like that. So
by the time that they go for formal training in this, they'll be well versed in some of the instrumentation and technology. Because
they take instruments and they show you why you need this and go into real detail, and it's really professionally done. So
That's great.
yeah.
See, they can teach anything on YouTube
So when
nowadays.
they leave, they got a lot of homework they can do if they want to.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, but you're right. There's no joke. They really, no, you can learn anything on YouTube. It's like there's a YouTube for it. People are like, how do you fix a cabinet? There's a YouTube video. How do you fly a plane? Just go. There's a YouTube video on that.
Oh no, kid came up to our door the other day, and it's a friend of ours, and he says, "Can you fix my?" He got a new mountain bike that has disc brakes, the hydraulic,
Oh, wow.
on a bicycle, and
Wow.
so I said, I don't know, let's go to YouTube. Sure enough, there's like 2-3 videos on how to adjust your disc brakes on a.
Man,
Number one, are they hydraulic? No. If they're not, and then you got another one, so you can.
man, you got to take your bicycles to Meineke or something now to get the brakes done on them. Good disc brakes and.
So anyway, you're right.
That's crazy. That's really cool. So now, if families are interested in getting their kid involved in doing the flight simulator program, is it? Just reach out to you guys, or pretty much, or
Yeah, reach out.
Okay.
Normally, what we're working through right now, just to give you a rundown. So, like I said, we've had about 46 youth and 11 adults come through so far. We had a bunch of homeschoolers just
Okay.
a few weeks ago come through, but we've had groups of. We got Marinda Middle School is coming out in about another week and a half with
Okay.
about a group of students, and we're
Okay.
going. I think we're going to break them in 2 groups. And while one half goes to maybe Aircell or to the university, the other half will be there, and then they flip flop over.
Okay.
And eat lunch and stuff.
Very cool. Well, I do want to ask, like, if folks are youth groups, things like that, are interested, is there probably an age appropriate, or you
Yes, yeah, that's definitely, we discovered that really quick on. If you
Okay.
get someone that's like 12 years old,
know?
a flight simulator is a big game.
Okay.
And they want to immediately take off, and they want to change airplanes, and they want to fly upside down and crash and see what happens. And
Right.
rather than being serious about trying to look at the instruments
Sure. And
that
actually
we have all
fly a
laid out,
plane.
right, and fly it and take off and
They want it to be an
and
arcade
do what
game.
you're supposed to do. Yeah, yeah. So we've generally looking at, 7th, 8th graders to
Okay.
high school.
Okay.
And right now we're coordinating, and we have coordinated already with Sidney Gutierrez Charter School, Roswell Independent School District, of course,
Great.
and Ruben Bolaños out there with the STEM stuff. But anyway, Gateway School, All Saints Catholic School, Assurance Home, Civil Air Patrol, and Experimental Aircraft Association, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, New
Good.
Mexico Youth Challenge. I went over there when they get the new class come in. We want to get some of those.
So you got a pretty good
folks
base
in
there covered there.
Several churches we've gone to and said, you guys got buses, come in and just let us know. We can come out in the evening,
Okay.
and youth groups. So anyway, that's kind of what we're
Good deal.
looking at. And this is open, Dexter, Hagerman, Artesia.
Yeah, we these are Roswell, but yeah, this is, if you're
we're
in
kind of looking at a regional. coverage
Chavez
here.
County,
Right.
or maybe even Eddy County, some there want to come up and obviously the impact, and the other thing too is yeah, we're talking this is STEM based things, but at the same time you're here at the base, you're here at the spot where all the history we're talking about happened. And hopefully some of that rubs off on these kids too. And it's like, right in this spot, these were World War II aircraft were sitting right out in that tarmac out here in front of you and all that. And just,
We had 24 of Sierra Middle School. I think I mentioned that maybe last month, and 12 at a time. And that was pretty tiring, but about 2 hours with each group. And then they met out in front. It was still fairly warm. They were eating their little sack lunches. So we all walked out there to talk to them, and I looked at their bus driver, and I said, "Get your butt in." No, I said, "Come on in here and fly a simulator." So we got the bus driver to come on in and got him on the flight simulator while the kids were eating lunch. And
nice.
so anyway, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So, reach out to the museum here. Obviously, adults listening here that are saying, you know what, I'd love to spend some time at the museum here volunteering to work. That would be great too. Like I said, you need more folks to kind of serve as docents a little bit there at the museum. But if that's not your thing, but you love organizing and cataloging and helping that kind of stuff, they could use a lot of help on that. There's, that's the thing about a museum is you kind of collect things.
We got everything up kind of in running, except we have this one room that was a storage room that we've turned into. It's going to be the Atlas.
Okay.
display, and that is not up yet because we've just kind of got everything else rolling, but we've got to get that going. So.
Sure. And then, of course, looking for more to serve on the board as well. Looking for some fresh faces and ideas to be a part of the veteran group that's there right now. So would love to have some.
Yeah, and if you want to, get your encourage through your schools and stuff, that's kind of what we're trying to do is work it with the that area. But we're open for adults to look at the flight simulators too. But it's not something that when people walk in. Oh, that's another thing I didn't mention. That when people just walk in, since they're pretty complex, and we don't want people to use them as toys.
Sure.
It's basically the flight simulators are for the for youth.
Yeah.
And for an educational purpose.
Yeah, this isn't something you put out in front of the grocery store and put 2 quarters in it and sit on it for 10 minutes. No. This is a little bit more complex.
And then the other thing that I didn't mention, when they leave, besides handing them those sheets of paper, they can go home and do their homework. We give them a little card, like a business card, that says on the back, it has a picture of a flight cockpit, on the front card. You roll it over and it says, I am an Edu Station pilot. And then we put their name.
Okay.
And then they can put the date they came in and the number. Because we have a roster that when a person comes in, we keep their first name only.
Okay.
And basically what grade they were in. So they can come back once we're open full time.
Sure.
And show them the card and says, oh, you've been introduced to the Edu Station. There they are. Go ahead and help yourself and go back. And
it's kind of like a membership into the club.
Yeah, because they can select all kinds of scenarios, fly 50 different aircraft, land any place in the world.
So, kids, if you're listening and you're thinking, I want to be a pilot when I grow up, now, through your own accord here, you can go and in essence, get simulator time long before you start any kind of formal training here. So once you're at an appropriate age to start the formal training, you're already 12 steps ahead of the game because, in essence, you've got some seat time in a simulator.
And if you watch that 13 hours of stuff on YouTube, you're really up to speed on a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. You might even be able to, knowledge-wise, to skip a few classes.
Maybe replace the teacher.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Certainly would definitely make it a lot easier for you to comprehend and understand it when it comes to the formal training side.
Yeah.
So,
just
absolutely.
a quick rundown. I did that before, but the 10 STEM careers that we have that show the youth when they come in is science, technology, and math overview of careers. Okay, as careers in aviation, a day in the life of a wind turbine technician, what it's like to be an aircraft mechanic, energy careers. Next one is oil well worker career. What does a registered nurse do? ? Architectural engineering versus architecture. What's the difference? How to become an automotive mechanic and roughnecks at work and a drilling rig connection. That's kind of fun because it shows these guys changing pipes and mud squirting everywhere. And it's kind of like, seriously?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
That one.
That one's kind of not necessarily STEM.
Yeah.
But it's jobs that are going on around the area. That's kind of interesting.
It's like, and I don't know, but you watch movies and a lot of the careers you just talked about, they show a version of it in movies. The pilots, you Top Gun and nurse. You always think of like ER, these other shows like that, and oil derrick. They always show like either it's on the coastal, like the shore rigs, but whenever time they show it, it's always like this big adventure of it's like living on the edge kind of with just the way the orchestration of moving the parts and getting everything going. And I feel like they enhance all of that in Hollywood. But if any of those kind of sort of come close to what it's like in real life, I feel like it's probably the oil derricks and those ones there because that's really it's hard work, but it is kind of a bit of a dance the way they do it and who's where and how it's done. And
I know. They're showing how these 3 guys that are working at the pipes and then one guy over at the controls.
Yeah, it's really the
they're
ultimate.
Throwing these chains around the pipe and it tightens up and then turns and they have these big wrenches that they connect the pipes.
Yeah.
And one pulls one way, one pulls the other way, and they're pulled by chains and cables. And you're thinking, man, you just lose a finger here. Just like,
sure.
You got to really be careful what you're doing.
But that teamwork and that precision's key on all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to me that's pretty fascinating. But yeah, so again, you can check that out if anybody's interested in those career fields, youth-wise. check the video out. Make sure that's what you want to really do. So
Do we have time to run over a quick
yeah,
history of the Cold War?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, a little quick history. March 21st, 1946, the Army Air Forces gave a newly formed Strategic Air Command the responsibility of delivering atomic bombs in the event of war. In April 1946, several of the 509th Composite Group B-29s were deployed to Kwajalein as part of an Operation Crossroads, which was a series of atomic bomb tests in the Marshall Islands in the Pacific. And that came out of Walker. Starting in May 1946, the 393rd, 715th, and 830th Bombardment Squadrons in the 509th, assigned to Roswell, were the only atomic bomb mission-ready squadrons in Strategic Air Command.
Wow.
And in September of 1947, the U.S. Army Air Corps became United States Air Force. And in January 48, the Roswell Army Airfield became Walker Air Force Base.
Okay.
And 30 June 1948, the 509th Air Refueling Squadron was activated as part of the 509th Bomb Wing, and is one of the first refueling units ever created. And using the KB-29M tankers, the 509th, at that time, the bombers could virtually reach any target on Earth because of the refueling.
Sure.
The 6th Bomb Wing was activated 2 January 1951 at Walker, and it was equipped with the B-29 and the KB-29M tanker. And in January 54, KC-97 tanker was replaced by the KB-29Ms, and those started to be replaced by the KC-135, which are still in service today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So in theory, they could run the entire mission out of Walker here with the refuelers and the bombers.
They could take off and fly to any target on the Earth.
And all done right out of Walker Air Force Base.
Right.
Interesting.
And the 3 squadrons of the 6th Bomb Wing, the 24th, 39th, and 40th, were equipped with the heavy bomber, the B-36 Peacekeeper. You know, it had 6 of those big prop engines and the 4 jet engines.
Yeah.
My mother knows that well because as they would take over our house where we lived over in South Adams when I was in high school, the vibration would sometimes shake off little things off of her piano.
I'm sure there was neighborhoods there that knew that plane very well.
Of course, me, I didn't care. I love it. I run out there and I was looking up in the sky and saying, that was pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah. Kids loved it. Probably moms, not so much.
Yeah, that's true. June 1955, Walker received an all-jet B-47 bomber, and the B-47s left with the 509th, which left to go to Pease Air Force Base in New Hampshire in 1958.
Okay.
So they left to Walker. And Walker started receiving the B-52, which are still in service today, in 1957, with a phase out of the B-36 that same year, 1957, and the B-52s remained at Walker until closure.
Okay, so they were there about 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the construction of the 12 Atlas intercontinental ballistic missile silos, Atlas F missile, that was started same year I graduated from high school, 1961.
Okay.
Because I remember that was really going on big time. And they completed all the sites, and all 12 ICBMs were on alert status by October 62. And that was the Cuban Missile Crisis time frame.
Okay.
And were deactivated in 1965, and the base closed in 67 due to Vietnam budget considerations. So
yeah.
So anyway, that's the end of that.
Interesting.
Quick shot of
I didn't
Cold War.
realize that they were at one point the only nuke-capable base in the Strategic Air Command.
That was kind of right after the war there. Yeah.
So basically, if that call came, guess it's all coming out of Roswell. Now, I would imagine there was probably some commands in the Pacific Theater and the European Theater, those things. But when it came to here in our country, that's pretty. I did not know that. I didn't realize it was the only.
Well, that's at the beginning. Later on,
Yeah, they
spread
added
out.
more, but it was the first and only nuke base there for
because
the
the
United States.
bombers that dropped in Japan, they came back to Walker.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense, and I got to be honest. To this day, it kind of baffles me why it's still not an Air Force base. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of Air Force, decision making, but I would imagine, the airspace, the runways, the facilities, that if they maintained them, I just feel like that was an ideal location to do a lot of this stuff that they want to do. But I obviously don't know the game plan. But you would have, to me, I just see the assets that were available at this base and what it did, and I'm kind of surprised it failed to base closures. But who do I know? That was a different decision at a different time.
That's right.
I mean, I guess we didn't, because you look now, because to be honest, we've been on the Cannon Air Force Base has been on the chopping block 1 or 2 times. I believe Kirtland was. Holloman, not so much. I don't think you'll ever see Holloman be on base closure, just because the amount of stuff that goes on out there. A lot of it, in my opinion, I don't think the public even knows about. Like they got a whole weather squadron out there, and in my head, I think it's weather squadron. I got air quotes up. I'm just saying. Yeah. I think there's some way more important stuff going on over there. That's just my opinion.
By the way, Steve Griffin was a retired Navy weather guy. He was in the weather a long time. He brought out a nice big collection. He's got it all mounted on the wall of professional weather instruments. And when we have a tour, and he tries to get out there and he gives them a quick briefing on the on the weather, this really cool weather equipment.
Okay.
And he's really excited about that. And we have to say, okay, Steve, back off.
Reel it in.
Yeah, reel it in, no, but he's great. So,
that's great.
And he may be one of the people come out and help us with some other tours.
Good.
Let me, before we get move on, thank some of our supporters.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Roswell Toyota, Xcel Energy, Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development, and several individuals, some doctors, Phil Cathy and Paul Engstrom and Lloyd Hughes. Glenn's Furniture gave us some furniture stuff.
Oh,
and
wow.
Air Sail has been a big supporter in the past. So we're getting ready to have probably our golf thing in May on Forces Day, coming up in May 2022.
So put that on your radars. If you supported the golf scramble in the past, love to have you back. If you're like, wait, can I do that? Yes, you can. We can get you a sponsorship. I love the Walker Air Force Base Museum golf scramble, because I love, not only is it a fundraiser, but it does pay homage to our veterans and to people that sponsor, like to put at the boxes and things pictures of veterans and their family and things. And so you get to learn about some of the people of our past too a little bit. And I love that side of it. So.
Our email is Walker A Museum. Like, instead of saying Walker Aviation Museum, we just said Walker, WALKER, A is in Alpha, museum at gmail.com.
Very good. And, of course, the website is wafbmuseum.org.
Right.
There you will find the contact information. If you don't remember everything, you'll find contacts there.
Right.
But if you'd like to donate money directly, you'll find a link there, too. If you want to reach out about any of the programs or like to be a volunteer or serve in any other capacity with the museum, you'll find the information for you to be able to do that there at the website as well. And also, don't forget, you'll find the link to the Amazon Smile tab.
And we've opened up the idea, and I haven't talked to the city manager yet, but they have Roswell has a big card table with a bunch of stuff they sell out there in the hallway.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, maybe why can't we team up with them if they could move that table inside? It kind of depends on where we're going to be open and stuff, so they don't have to download everything and pack it up every day and then come back and put it up.
Gotcha.
We could just have it there as part of our gift shop, maybe right out of the museum, but we'll see how that works out.
Save them some time and maybe use each other to drum up some more visitors and things to come by. So,
correct.
Yeah, I like that. Absolutely.
By the way, I've been out there to eat in that little restaurant's open now.
Yeah.
They got a killer breakfast burrito. I go out there and
awesome. I went out there because I flew to Maryland here over the holidays here, and I saw. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to go because once I got there and everything, I was supposed to, like, my sheet said we're leaving at 6:50, and it was actually at 6:30, so I got there about 5:30, and by the time I got checked in and got in line to get into TSA, I didn't have time to walk over there and grab something to eat. But it did look good from over. It's the same company that does food services at the college.
Yeah, right.
And I've had their burritos over at the college, and they are a 10. Yeah. So if it's anything like those, then you're in good hands. And it sounds like, Robert,
it's kind of like it's kind of egg with over easy. They kind of roll it over and then wrap it in there. And it had bacon or sausage, whatever you say. I select bacon and potatoes and green chili and cheese. And so I had to go back and tell the cook, where's that cook? I want to talk to him. Said, good job. I brought it up here, lived here. Said, this is one of the best burritos I've ever had. So,
nice. All right, challenge accepted. Sounds like you're going to go have breakfast down at the airport this
and
morning
then
here.
swing on over. Hopefully, we'll be open. You
Yeah.
can come to the museum.
Have a burrito and a tour.
Yeah,
A B&T.
a burrito on a tour. There you go. Good idea.
Do the B&T special. Very good. Well, Robert, as always, appreciate the visit here. And folks, come check it out. Come check out the museum. Come out today. Look about noon or so.
Is school going right now, or is it?
Yes, they're back to school.
Today?
Yeah, they went back yesterday.
Oh,
so
okay.
They're back in classes today.
So if you got any adults out there, talk to your kids, talk to your teachers, and coordinate with us, and especially if you're that age group, 8th grade ideal, 8th through 12.
8 on up. 8 on up. There's 7th
we can
on
handle
up.
we can handle 7th graders,
Sure.
but it's just the older, because we talk about careers, and sometimes they're more focused on careers.
Absolutely, and obviously the vocabulary might be a little bit more understandable and things to someone in 7th grade versus a child.
Yeah,
in 4th
also
grade.
give them a quick shot of some Roswell history too.
There you go. Hit them all with it. So awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
And we'll see you next time. All right.
Next month.
Yeah, as is, unless something changes big time. It is 7:52. Let's pause.